Oh, it's great to be here. I'll tell you what, it's always a pleasure talking with you.
So we were just talking, Michael. Those who do not know, whenever we talk about domain name parking and monetization,
Yeah.
Michael will be, and his ParkLogic will be always mentioned, always above top 4. The positions always change, but ParkLogic will be always there. So we have a great one here.
Well, it's wonderful to be here. I'll tell you. Thank you for those kind words.
Thank you, and thank you, Michael, for your time. Michael, how are you doing? How has the year started?
Yeah, it's really interesting to take a look at what's been going on in the industry
Yes.
And just seeing how things are transpired more than not just looking at the how it's recently started, but how it's progressed across the last few years. It's been really quite interesting. Like we saw that coming as the COVID sort of wave came through and things like that, it really went up. In terms of there's a huge demand for traffic, and all those traffic managers out there or traffic investors out there, they're made out very well, put that way. And it was a very good time. And I think it really came down to I remember seeing a news reporter on the news here in Australia, and they're interviewing some guy, and he was closing up his skateboard shop. And
Okay.
the reporter said, "So what are you going to do now? Because COVID's closed your store." And he said, "Well, I'm moved everything into my garage at home, all my stock, and I'm selling online." And I scratched my head and I thought, wow, okay, because that's interesting. Because with COVID, I was wondering whether everything was going to collapse, I must admit. And so then then the very next night looked at another, essentially there was an identical story
Yes.
of all these small businesses went online. And the thing that would happen was that there was like a huge amount of demand for things, as we know, for things like Zoom and Shopify and
Oh,
Wix
absolutely.
and all that sort of stuff. Massive demand. But there was also then all those businesses went online. They said, how do we get traffic? We want to get traffic to our websites. Yeah, otherwise we're not going to survive. And so they went along online and trying to work out how do we get traffic. And of course, they began buying up the traffic. And at the same time, a lot of the big companies, they left the industry. They left buying traffic. They stopped buying.
Really?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, so like Amazon and that sort of stuff, they stopped buying traffic. And it's really quite a strange phenomenon. And so what then occurred as we progressed through COVID and so forth, you had all these small businesses beginning to work out how to buy the traffic, and and that just drove the prices up. And then at about I can't remember the exact date. It was about 6 or 8 months into COVID. A lot of the big guys came back and they said, "Who stole that traffic?" Yeah, and they then accelerated the buying up as well. Further, they could paid more and more for traffic. And so it was really quite an interesting time. So then what occurred was that we came out of COVID and all that sort of stuff, and thank goodness for those times that we've come out. And the traffic levels were still there because everyone's gone online. But the demand actually fell off, though.
Okay.
And so you can see that, and you saw that in the reports with Google and Facebook and that sort of stuff in those times where they've retrenched a whole lot of people, and they let a lot of people go, and it really began to normalize, and we could see the whole thing. In fact, when we looked at our ParkLogic data, we could see each wave of COVID go through. In the data, it was really, really fascinating. It opened up our eyes to maybe utilizing some of our data for statistical medicine and things like that. So it was really quite interesting, and just seeing it come through. But yeah, so anyway, then it normalized, and then Google, as many of you know, has been, I think, really. They've been struggling. I think they've been really looking around, sort of saying, where can we get additional revenue from? And they Then, of course, the whole privacy laws and things like that came to bear a lot more in the last couple of years, and particularly they're coming down to answer your question there, Helmuts. This year we really saw Google began to ratchet back how much they paid. And that was quite an interesting. It's been an interesting journey this year. Like you get some of the companies may say, "Oh no, it hasn't affected us at all." Heck yeah, we've got all the data from every single company, and trust me, it's impacted them all. If you've got all of your dependency upon a single advertising source, i.e., Google, then it's affected you massively.
Do these companies buy traffic from you directly? And those who do not know, we have 3 prepared questions. And if you are watching this early or this late, maybe somewhere you can go to YouTube or Facebook and ask your question. Ask your question live. And one of those 3 questions is: can I buy traffic directly from you?
Yeah,
and
I think
then yes.
To answer that question, and then we'll follow up with some more.
Yeah.
A few things that we've really done is that we found that our clients didn't get impacted by the Google downturn nearly as much, because we're finding more and more of our traffic is going to tier 2 sources, to direct advertisers.
Okay.
So we're plugged into just about all the global advertising networks, and we're always looking for opportunities in that space. When you manage the mass levels of traffic we have, it's always looking for a home.
And what is your traffic?
From domains.
Yes. No. What are the numbers? So 5 million, 5 million a day, 20 million a day, 100 million a day.
Well,
it ranges, of course.
I'll tell you how much knocks on our front door.
Okay.
We get about 8 to 9 billion requests hit our servers at the front end every day. 8 to 9 billion. Now, a lot of that is bots and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
All that. Absolutely. Yeah, but we get about 8 to 9 billion requests hit our servers at the front end, and it's a challenge dealing with a lot of that traffic. It creates a whole lot of technical challenges. Trust me.
Oh God.
Anyway, so we've been migrating. We've been releasing a whole lot of new technologies and everything like that for our clients, and there's a whole lot more coming out. In fact, where we've completely repriced a lot of our algorithms and things like that. And we found a lot more of the traffic ends up going to direct advertising sources. So it mitigates a lot of the risks. We see at ParkLogic, we manage 2 things for our clients.
Okay.
2 things. The first thing is to maximize the revenue from every piece of traffic. We take that responsibility very seriously. And the second thing is to reduce risk. And no one talks about that. And reducing risk is all about, is this traffic in a competitive environment? Like, let's imagine you went to an auction to buy a house.
Yes.
And you were the only person there.
Okay.
Do you think the person that is selling the house is going to get the best price? No.
Probably not. Well, it depends from auctioneers, of course.
Yeah. So the domainer is like selling a house. Okay. But if there's only one bidder, at the auction, and you're trying to sell your house, then you're not going to get a good price. And that's exactly what a lot of people do. They send all their traffic to a single parking company. Right. And so they're not going to get the best price. And the price changes, like we see it changing about every 100 milliseconds. The price changes. So what we do is make sure, by reducing risk, what I mean by that is have it so it's an ultra competitive environment. So each piece of traffic will be bid by 20 different sources, 20 plus different sources every 100 milliseconds. Yeah, and that's occurring continuously. And it's very important to do that. So they're the 2 things we do: is we make sure we have we maximize the revenue, and 2, we reduce risk, because you want each piece of traffic being bid on by more than one company. Otherwise, it's like your mortgage. It's like you're trying to, not your mortgage, you're trying to sell your house, and you've only got one buyer. That you're not going to get a good price.
So let us say I would like to buy, and I'm considering building a domain name forum for France.
Yep.
And I want French traffic.
Yes.
I want French traffic, and I know that you have good traffic.
Yep.
So how can I buy traffic from you?
Right now, you can't. And the reason why you can't is that because we deal with such huge volumes of traffic,
Yes,
we deal with global advertising networks. Yeah, so we deal with companies that have like thousands of advertisers and that sort of thing. And because we're trying to sell for so much, yeah. But that is going to be that will change. I can tell you right now,
yes.
if you want to see a preview, that is going to change. And that'll change probably later on this year. Yeah, you will be able to buy traffic from ParkLogic.
So let us say I became one of those 100 or 1,000 companies you work with.
Yeah.
Would that be the way can I become a bidder?
Yes, correct. So later on, what we see later on this year, you'll be able to do things like, I want traffic in France related to domain names, and I'm prepared to bid this amount, and so forth. You'll be able to do that. Yeah, so it's that's something we see. We see that we'll be moving in that direction. Yeah.
Okay.
Which should be good news for a lot of people, I think. So we have a lot of good traffic.
Oh, lots of good traffic. Lots.
Yeah.
Do you know your users, Michael? Now, how many users do you have, and do you know them?
Yeah, well, that's once again, that's another interesting question.
Apologies for the personal question. I'm just really, really curious. I can tell you that I just recently.
Clients? You mean clients of ParkLogic?
Yes, I can say that you have one client who is the head of the domains at a registrar who manage 1 million domain names. And I know the guy, and he parks, I cannot name him, definitely not on a live stream. And he parks, maybe he monetizes, not parks.
Yeah.
200 or 300 domain names with you. His personal portfolio is larger, but I definitely so that's the so this is the nature of the question. Do you know who are your customers?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. We know them as well as we possibly can.
Yes.
Sometimes, I think one of the challenges for a company like this, and when you work with domain investors, is they do everything they can to be hidden. Because they may, let's imagine they have some trademarks or something like that, so they don't want people to know or whatever. So they do everything they can to be hidden. And so a challenge for us is to try to find them. It really is. It is. And I've been in this industry a long time, and I'm amazed at how many new people I keep on finding that have got domain portfolios.
Yes.
Yeah, and so we do whatever we can to get to know our clients, and we're fiercely protective of our clients' privacy and things like that as well. So it's we treat that very seriously. We had, even when we get, like, we quite often will get different requests from law enforcement and things like that about different domains and things.
Yes.
And we're very protective of our clients' privacy, even around that sort of thing.
Really? Even when law enforcement comes?
Yeah. Okay. Even when law enforcement, we will require them to get court orders and things like that before we release anything. And it's very important, it's to protect the client's privacy and for our clients to know it is protected.
Well, there is a line, isn't there? Like, criminal doings is definitely the line where I will stand for this. Me personally, I will take a stand of the law. At some point, if somebody is involved into crime, there is no question for me to protecting.
But you need to understand our business model is one where our clients, they don't have an opportunity to do that because we control where the traffic goes and things like that.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So one of the challenges for the domain industry, I think, in direct advertising is that some of the direct advertising networks may get infiltrated by some bad actors, I call them.
Yes.
And so we work very closely with our partners to make sure we eliminate them and get them out, and we work away. And it's a challenge, yeah. So just with law enforcement, just to let you know, quite often, well, when I say quite often, we will work with law enforcement to help educate them of what the domain industry is.
Yeah.
They don't understand it. It's funny, they'll say, well, 6 months ago, this domain was used for phishing purposes. And I go, oh, did you realize it expired during that time? And our client just picked it up in the drop. Yeah. It got nothing to do with what it was formerly used for. Yeah. And they go, oh, we didn't realize that.
Well, of course, or somebody buys the traffic to some resource and the domainer just has monetized the domain name. He's not responsible for that. Yes.
Yeah. So you want to me, you like I say, quite often say to a law enforcement person that I can't tell you the information without a court order, because legally that's what we will need. But what I can do is help educate you and to show that the publicly available information proves that our client did not do what you're suggesting that they may have done.
Okay.
Yeah, so we really work on behalf of our clients. So some of the unsung things that I think we do is we really work with law enforcement and legal profession, things like that, to help educate them, but also to help prove through publicly available information that our clients did not do what they're accused of phishing or something like that. And so we work really closely with a lot of those organizations, because when you manage, like we currently have clients that represent about 15% of the world's domains going through us. Yeah, so it's a lot.
So did you say 50? 15%. Okay, those who do not know, in the world at the moment there are around 360 million domain names.
Yeah, 360 million. Yeah, so it's 15%. So they our clients control that many domains themselves. That doesn't mean all of them going through us.
So that's around 46 million domain names, 47 million.
It's a lot of domains. It's a lot of domains. Yeah.
Wow.
We see that going up substantially in the coming months, and so a lot of people don't know that about us. Yeah.
Wow, Michael.
So it's So we typically, like, we work with very large domain investors, and we, like, the really big domain investors, they have me on Skype. So when they have questions, they ask me questions and stuff, and I help do whatever I can to help them out. Yeah. So it's I view us, like, when I look at our team, we have a team that has, like, huge amount of experience in this industry. A lot of the team have been there for, like, last 15, 16, 17 years, whatever. And they have a lot of, I call it the art and the science. They love the science of understanding the numbers, but then a lot of the art. When you look at a number, you get a feel for them, and you know what's good, what's bad, and stuff. But it's
how do you analyze the traffic, Michael? If I may, as we are all just people, and many of us, when parking or trying to monetize domain names, will try to bend the rules a little bit. I'm sure you have seen it. You have seen bot traffic being sent. People are trying to arbitrage probably traffic.
Yeah, well, like, arbitrage got a bad name, right? If you think about what business is arbitrage.
Yes.
Okay, by definition, it's arbitrage. I advertise, you come to my business, and I sell you something. That is arbitrage, because I'm making a margin in the middle there, right? So so I don't mind arbitrage as such, but the thing I do mind, this is where we've steered clear, largely steered clear of arbitrage. There's a couple of people we work with do small amounts of arbitrage, but I largely steer clear of it because there's a lot of people out there who, how can I put it? They buy the cheapest, crappiest traffic, and they think they're going to make a killing. And you just can't do that nowadays. Like the industry has grown a long way since then, so you can't do that. And they want to make like 10,000% margins and all this sort of stuff. You can't do that. It's just it's you've got to give value to advertisers. Ultimately, is what you're trying to do.
Yes.
And if you're not giving value to advertisers, then it's just not going to work. Yeah. So I think that's the most important thing, is giving that value to advertisers and be very, very focused on that. But yeah, so there's some people who try to do arbitrage and things. Like I know there's a lot of Google arbitrage happening at the moment with different companies. I'm personally not a fan of that. I think you'll make a lot of money, but you won't build a business. I think you'll just get closed down eventually. Like you really will. You'll make some money along the way, and you're not building any value. I find that's why I'm not a big fan of it really. Like it's great for making a bit of money, but
Yes.
you're not building value.
But how do you analyze the traffic? Do you analyze the traffic that is coming in randomly, or of course it requires lots of resources, and still.
Yeah, we analyze. It's funny. Someone asked recently, like, what's our core competency at ParkLogic? We're analysts. Yeah, we really are.
You are the man of data. Oh,
yeah, I love my data. Yeah, so we're real analysts, and we get up to our neck in data all the time, and the data is where it's all about. Like I was doing some analytics with a reasonable sized portfolio just end of last week, and I saw a way that I thought, gee, if we just change the routing this way, then we can add another like $100 a day of revenue to this client. Let's go and do it. Yeah. So, and it was a spreadsheet which took about 20 minutes to open. Just open. It's a very big spreadsheet, and this on an i9 computer processor with 128 gig of RAM. It's this massive machine I've got, and it took a long time to open. But I was pulling the data off servers, which is like massive databases.
Yes.
And like we had to do a big file transfer just recently, one of our tech guys, and it took 13 hours to copy the file. 13 hours. It was a huge file. Like it's just, we deal with mass data. We normally wouldn't have to do that sort of thing, but in this particular case, there was a situation where we just had to copy a file from one place to another.
Yes.
And it was 13 hours to copy it. And so we deal with, when we talk about databases and styles of files and everything, it's next level. So we're actually restructuring re-architecting our entire system right now.
Who manages your name servers?
We have our own.
You have your own, yes. As at your level,
yeah.
Many companies wouldn't be able actually to serve you.
They can't. Yeah. The problem we found, we looked at outsourcing a number of times. In fact, outsourcing name service and things like that. And the thing we found was some companies can handle it. Don't get me wrong, but their business models just don't work. Yeah, they'll charge on a per domain basis or something like that, or whatever, or a traffic basis. And this is like, I don't think we can put a tax on the entire business. Yeah,
economically, it just doesn't work. Yes.
So I've actually lost count how many DNS servers we have around the world. I know it. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. So it's really interesting. Yeah. So we're in the process right now of re-architecting our entire environment, and we're actually really excited about that. We think there's going to be significant upside to doing that for clients, and that's what we get excited about. Then we're doing we're reworking our entire algorithm. We worked out a way to massively reduce risk for clients, while at the same time as improving revenue. We worked out another way. Like people say all the time, they say to me, they say things such as, well, when is a domain optimized? And I just looked at them really puzzled. I was like, it's never optimized. Like it never stops. We never stop looking for ways of getting more from traffic. We never stop. And we're constantly doing it. We're coming up with new ideas and that sort of stuff. And we just never stop. And that's our job. And we're proud of what we do for our job. Yeah. So we just do not stop. We continually work away at. Like I said to the team, I said, performance will never be off the agenda. Performance will never be off the agenda. Yeah. So it's and that's important. Yeah. That's always there. They're at the forefront of our thinking. And how do we get performance? How do we improve performance? There's so many things that we have planned, which I'd love to be able to share with you. Some I can't share just yet. In terms of how do we actually improve performance? There's so many things where we have in the pipeline right now. It's really quite exciting. I love domain traffic. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Michael, how do you explain the difference of a park domain and parked monetized domain name? Maybe you have a simple lingo. I have my own explanation, but I would love to hear yours. As most people see a park domain equals monetized, and that isn't really true.
No, it's not true.
Yes.
Yeah. So let me explain the difference between parking and monetization.
Yes.
Parking is you go on and put your domain. It's single parking company, right? And the best will happen for you is that they are the best solution for 20% of the traffic. That's the best. So 80% of the time, you could get a better payout from somewhere else for your traffic. 80% of the time. So it's massive. It's a massive thing. Well, monetization is how do you get the 80%? That's the monetization. And you have to expose the traffic to not just the parking companies, but you've got to expose the traffic to all different monetization sources.
Yes.
And that's the difference between parking and monetization. That's where I look at people, they talk about domain parking, and I'm going, that's not what we do. We do monetization, which is very different. Yeah.
Michael, we have a question. Good morning, Rohit. Good morning. And those who are watching, this is very early for Europe. Great time for Australia. Do you have spam protection?
Do we have spam protection from whom? That's the question. That's an interesting question. Is it spam protection as in bots coming to a domain? Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely, we have that. We have all sorts of different ways of identifying that sort of traffic. And do we have spam protection from people applying for accounts? Absolutely.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You get a lot of.
Why do they do that?
Well, there's a lot of people. They try to get accounts and things like that. I can tell you right now that if you're a significant player, number one is you've got to be doing at least $2,500 a month of revenue to get an account with us, at least.
Okay. Yes.
Typically speaking. And if you can prove that you're doing at least that, then we'd love to have a talk with you. And notice what I said there. We'd love to have a talk with you. This is not just email or something like that. We want to get to know our clients and everything like that. So we'd like to be able to talk with you. And in that process, we'll ascertain if we can help you or not. And if we can, great. We'd love to be able to have a long-term relationship. That's what we want to do. And we want to work with you into the long term, not the short term, into the long term.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the reasons why we're still here after 17 years. We take a very long-term view. You look at there's been a lot of companies have come and gone and things like that. And there's one thing for sure, we're still here. In fact, I had a guy I think it was NamesCon one year. He said, "Why should I put my domains with you?" And I said to him, "Because we're still here." He goes, "That's a good answer." And I said, "Well, we must be doing something right." Yeah. So it's a very interesting question you asked. Like, do we have spam filters and all that sort of stuff? And yeah, we do not. In fact, they're about to get even stricter and stuff. But we do not try to monetize bot traffic. A number of years ago, I had a guy come up to me and he said, "Michael, we're going to make so much money together." And I said, "Great, love it. We're going to make money. I love it. I'm in." Right?
That's good. Yes.
He said, "I can make the click-through rate whatever you want it to be." I said, "Pardon me?"
Okay.
He said,
"Pops up."
Bot.
Yes.
I've written a great bot, and it will click on the ads on the page, and it's very smart, very intelligent, and we're going to make so much money. And I said, "So let me understand the value for the advertiser." And he goes, "Doesn't matter, Michael. The advertiser will be fine." And I said, "But hang on, this is fraud."
Absolutely.
And he goes, "But we're going to make so much money." I said, "Not with me." You're not going to happen. Yeah. And it's one of the reasons why we're still here. We just won't head down that path. I remember years, this was a very long time ago, we actually tried to refund money for somebody this is back in the early days, who got into our network. We found out they committed some fraud. It was bad traffic. And we tried to refund money to some of our partners. And they'd never had anyone do that before. They didn't have a process of how to refund money to them. It's quite funny. And but anyway, that was another story. Yeah, we just don't believe in it. Like if you shouldn't, we will never reward someone who we found has committed fraud. I actually remember I was on DM forum. This person really got angry at me because we wouldn't pay them money. And I paid them some money. I said, "Yeah, that's because your traffic was fraudulent." And they got very angry. And I said, "I'll tell you what, you get angry all you like. I'm going to sleep really well tonight."
Of course.
Because I refuse to pay anyone who commits fraud. So I just refuse to. I will not do that. Yeah.
Yes. Fraud creates just loss of money for everybody.
The reason why is because you're right. With fraud, what they're actually doing is they're taking money out of a good domain investor's pocket and trying to put it in theirs.
Yes. Yep.
That's what fraud is, and I will not put up with that.
Absolutely. And keeps creating bad experience, and bad experience will not result in a returning customers. Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's quite a difficult thing. But I think that when you look at this year, you asked another interesting question about this year. One of the things that did happen this year is I ended up buying my business partner app.
This was one of the questions of mine. Yes, congratulations. Both
it was great
to
for
you
him too.
and so I have so many questions on this one.
Really,
from a business perspective. Go.
It was look, with something like this, it's wonderful to be working with someone who you've worked with for so long, and he wanted to go
side by side. your business family, business wife, business husband.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Yes.
Yeah, and it was really great to be able to be working and also negotiating with someone with goodwill.
Yes.
Yeah. So we spent a few months really trying to construct an agreement which is appropriate and things like that, and that finally got executed on the 22nd of January.
Okay.
The final execution, and so that was a happy, sad moment. Happy because now I obviously own the company and things like that, but sad because it's the end of an era or such. Yeah, so it's. But at the same time, I imagine I'll be having regular lunches with my former business partner. We've already said that, and because he'll always want to know what's going on and stuff. And it's really, really good, and he's got tremendous insights. He's been the back sort of operations.
So what was his role? He was mostly as a CTO, kind of.
Look, we both played sort of the CTO role across the years and things like that, but really operational and on the finance and things like that, and all that sort of thing. So he played a great role with that, and part of the process of him exiting was making sure we'd engage other people who can take on the role and things like that, and handover and processes, and there's all that sort of things, and it's been really good.
And at the moment, it is quite sad as well. I can say, Michael, that I had a very, very good friend who was working from my office. He had his business, I had mine, but it seems he's having big financial issues, and he owes me now. He owes quite a lot of money to me, and that is where quite many friendships end. And that is so sad to lose your business soulmate. So sad. Yes.
Yeah, well, in this case, it was in some ways a happy moment too, because dare I say he's gone away with a whole lot of money. I've gone away with the company and things like that. And so it's been really positive for both parties. Someone said to me, they said, "Well, was it a good deal for you?" And I said, it was a deal where both parties were completely satisfied.
Okay. Yes.
And that means it's an excellent deal. It's an excellent deal for both. Yeah, and that's why I'm really happy, and I'm so happy for him. He's put such an incredible amount of work in over the years, and he is the sort of the unsung hero in the back room and that sort of stuff. And it's been really good. And like I said, there is no animosity there or anything like that, which has been great. So he's doing lots of really exciting other things, and for the next phase of his life, actually, and which is great.
If your business partner is watching this one, and what's his name?
David Gibbs.
David Gibbs. If you are ever thinking of coaching somebody, I am so picky on coaches. I know how successful ParkLogic is. And if you just want to have an eye on the industry, if you love it, at some point, maybe after 2-3 weeks, I wouldn't be able to stand longer without working.
6 months off.
If David ever wants to, I think I've heard that in America they have an organization, retired executives, retired.
Yeah.
They go into retirement, and then they realize, well, you can fish and garden only for that long. And then they offer their expertise and their knowledge free of charge to younger entrepreneurs who are fighting for their place under the sun. And I've been looking for such a program in Europe, in the UK. There isn't one. Americans are so lucky because of that.
I think it's fantastic. Like in America, I must admit, I do a show every week on Clubhouse.
Yes.
It's called Complete Entrepreneur. And I do it with Colin Campbell. who is one of the founders of Colin Campbell and also Michelle Van Tilburg. And Colin, he wrote this book, Start, Scale, Exit, Repeat. In fact, I'm in this book. He mentioned it. But and it was published by Forbes, the book, and it talks about his experience as an entrepreneur and great ideas and stuff like that. And we do a show every
start, scale, exit, repeat.
Yeah. And it's a fantastic book for entrepreneurs. It really is. I would highly, highly recommend it. And so we run a show together. I host it called The Complete Entrepreneur on startup.club. And so just go to startup.club. You can find out all the details. And we look at, I begin to unpack not just the business side of being an entrepreneur, I unpack the life of an entrepreneur. And how do you handle stress? How do you handle the business work-life balance?
Oh, yes.
How do you handle all these different things as an entrepreneur? And it's really, it's tough. Yeah, it really is tough. How do you fire your best friend? And because a lot of times businesses start and there could be two friends together, one working for the other or whatever.
Yes.
So, or how do you work with your best friend? Like I work with my my best friend. I've been working with him for the last 17 years, and my brother-in-law for the last 25. Yeah, how do I work with them? Like, what do? You go to have a Christmas party and talk work? No, you don't. Yeah, so how do you deal with that sort of stuff? And it's really, it's a great show and goes for 1 hour every week. I've been doing it for like two and a half years, something. I think it's 2.5 years. And I think this last week we tackled the importance of cash.
On which days is it?
This is at Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. 5 p.m. Eastern time. Great for Europeans.
Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern. Okay.
Every week.
Yeah.
So last week we tackled the importance of cash, but we talked about it in terms of not just how cash is like the oxygen in the room.
Yes.
We talked about what's it like being an entrepreneur and you're running out of cash.
And those who are our younger viewers,
yeah,
knowledge like this is crucial. For your success.
Yeah. So it's like how do you manage that emotionally?
Yes.
When you begin to run out of cash and things like that, there's a lot of emotional strain that you experience as an entrepreneur. So I've been doing that, and I just do that as part of my philanthropy. I don't get paid anything for this. I've never made a cracker from it, other than great relationships. And and I really enjoy doing that show. So it's one of the highlights of my week is to spend time with Colin and Michelle. They're the two moderators. I'm the host, and in Clubhouse, and it's really, really good. A lot of fun.
Okay. Michael, I believe that we have the next question.
Yeah, sure.
Is it coming from LinkedIn? It seems it is coming from LinkedIn. Yes. Bibek is asking, hello, Bibek. How to find parking domains in 2024? I suppose the question is how to find domains that are good for parking. Could that be clear?
Well, we could view it in two different ways. The first one is it going well? The answer is that if you have your domains, I think, with a single parking company,
yes,
you would have experienced a big downturn. You really would have. Google is definitely taking more margin, put it that way. That's what we're seeing across the board. But so that is tougher. But that's if you've got all your domains with a single parking company. And by the way, it seems to me like I'm negative about parking companies. I think every one of the major parking companies, Google, Cedo, Botus, whatever, all do an outstanding job. They're very close partners of ours, and have been for many, many years, like decades. Yes. Right?
I have seen.
They do an excellent job.
Yes.
Yeah. So please don't think that they don't do a good job. The question I always ask is which of them do the best job at that millisecond. Yeah, that's the thing. It's at that particular millisecond. That's what we work at. And so we can send the traffic to whoever's going to do the best at that particular millisecond. Yeah. So it's so that, to answer your question, then is that which comes back to the risk reward sort of mentality we have, which is how do we spread the risk across multiple monetization sources is really important. And so you got your traffic being supported by more than one source. Okay, the second question you're asking, which is where are the opportunities for domains in monetization? Where are they? I'm still a strong proponent of the ccTLDs, country codes. Like some of them have hardly been touched still. You take a look at it, and I remember many years ago, I came to the conclusion of two things. For me, it was because English is my natural language, and so I want to understand. I want to deal with English-speaking countries, or have an English heritage, put it that way. Because then I want to deal with countries which had large populations. And then I wanted to go along. The next thing I looked at was penetration of credit cards. And that was really important because an advertiser will spend more money online if they can see that they spent money, someone viewed the ad, they clicked on the ad, they came to the website, they then bought. That'll then drive up that cycle. If they can see it, they'll drive up the EPC rates, earnings per click. So the only way you can see that completion of a cycle is have like credit cards or some sort of monetization mechanism, which an advertiser or a marketer can see that cycle. As soon as you've got that cycle completed, it drives up EPC rates. Yeah, so one of big populations, for me, English speaking, and I don't wanted penetration of a monetization system. There's been monetization systems out there for thousands of years, but most of them are cash. You can't track it. So you want to be able to track it. Yeah. So I would highly recommend, like, I was looking at some of the African countries, like a lot of people don't realize that Nigeria, for instance, is a country which is one of the most, Lagos, I think its capital, is going to be the most connected city in the world.
Yes, that is what they are saying, yes.
Yeah, so it's like, that's just opportunity.
It is an African tiger, African elephant in God.
They don't just send you bad spam.
Huge economy.
From Nigerian princes or something like that. Trying to sell, yeah, I've got $6 million I need to give you. Just give me your bank account details. There's more than that, right? It's a hotbed of entrepreneurial activity and things like that. So I would definitely look at some of those countries. I think there's like some of the South American countries, once again, massive economies, like really big economies. And of course, you've got some of the Asian economies and stuff like that as well. Yeah, so there's huge amounts of opportunity. I remember when I first started out in the domain name industry, and I went to a domain conference back in 2002 or something. I can't remember. It's a long time ago. And 2001. Could be 2001. Anyway, it was a long time ago. And everyone was talking .com, as if it was everything, right? Yeah, the .com king and all that sort of stuff, Rick Schwartz and everything. And I scratched my head and said, I'll tell you what, you guys can have the .com, I'll have the rest of the world. Yeah. And I just bought into so many ccTLD. And I just, I made all my money in the early days from ccTLD. I didn't ignore .com, wasn't stupid, but I focused on ccTLD because I saw where all of the effort was being put into in the .com space, and it was being strip mined even back then. Well, the ccTLDs were just like open slather, like no one was looking at them. It was hilarious.
So what is your experience of ccTLDs? And this was the third, or originally the second question, but so your experience CCs versus Gs, and especially
CCs are better.
CCs are better. And some of them are much cheaper than .coms. For example, .de, huge.
Yeah, it depends what you mean with sorry. I need to rephrase that. Depends whether you mean new Gs. So I was thinking of new Gs.
Oh, yes. Maybe you could quickly explain what were the original 22 and then, well, how.
Well, think of it from a monetization perspective, com.net.org, right? Yeah, that's where you're at. And look, having the .com of domain and it's got lots of traffic, like it's great. It's don't get me wrong. So if you've got that sort of portfolio, that's just awesome. And we love monetizing that all day, every day, right? But CCs are fabulous because, and I view it this way, I travel a lot. And I love taking the taxi from the airport to the hotel. And I just look at all the billboards. And,
I do exactly the same.
yeah, and you look at the extensions and they're like co.uk, 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 or .d. They're not .coms. They're not .coms, very few. Okay, they're mostly the CC. And I just look at that and I go, okay, that's answered the question. Nothing's changed.
Yes.
Every now and then now you're seeing a new G. It's like a .club or something like that or whatever. And that's actually quite interesting to see. And I think there's a lot of opportunity, though, in the CCs. Huge opportunities in the country codes. I think that one of the sad things is that a lot of these country codes with massive opportunities, not all, but a lot, are run by like institutions which are just not commercial. And so they don't understand what they're sitting on still.
Yes.
Yeah.
And their attitude is exactly the same. We are not commercial. We make enough money. Yes.
Yeah, and the problem is many of them are getting shaken up by the new gTLDs, right? Like you suddenly have the new gTLDs come to the market, was it 8 years ago or whatever it was, and they started coming into the market, and as soon as you've got someone else come in and they're selling something, it will mean that you're having a reduction in market share yourself. It will happen, I can guarantee it. So a lot of the CCs began to get a bit nervous about this, and some of them had negative growth and things like that because they weren't taking advantage of what they really had, which is the country code. I think that's really quite sad. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things in the CC space which I think is completely underutilized.
So how would you choose? How would you search for CC domains for parking? Expired.
Well, I gave the criteria. I like I said, I look at penetration of credit cards to work out which country and things like that. And once I've worked out my target CC,
yes,
then some of the things you end up doing is saying, okay, what's the top domains worldwide, which I've trademarked, and say, do they exist there, or is there variations of it, or what's happening in the country? And there's many domains which aren't trademarked and are completely available in these countries. You just got to acquire them. There's lots of tools out there which will give you an indication of whether there is a like how much traffic, like how many links they potentially have. It could be an expired domain. Maybe you'll get the drop lists and things like that. And so there's lots of things you can do. I can't go into all of them. By the way, we typically don't do that sort of thing. We have our clients who it's their job to go along and find domains, our job to monetize them.
Have you heard that? I think Richard Lowe is working on Titan Rank. He's got a team he's got a company. So Richard Lowe is the original founder of Namescon. Such a pleasant guy, met him in Hamburg. Oh my God, such a pleasant guy. And of course, now he is mostly busy with logo.com, but he has a small office in London. And they are working Titan Research. They have a company, Titan Research. And they are going to launch Titan Rank for the domain names. They are breaking on data.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
There's lots of different opportunities and things like that, and there are lots of tools out there nowadays. I remember back when I first started, there was nothing. There was no tool. We actually had the most important tool, which was the Overture tool, but that was a long time ago. Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just point your finger somewhere. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, a lot of people sort of say that monetization is dead, and I hear this all the time. Monetization is dead, and it couldn't be further from the truth. It's like what a lot of people don't realize is the monetization industry essentially underpins the entirety of the domain sales industry, largely, right? There's so many wholesale deals happening all the time.
Yes.
Like I sold a domain for $50,000. Who to? Another domain investor. Where did they get their money from? Monetization. It's just like there's a lot of that. Yeah. So it's the monetization is definitely not dead. It's just changed. It's become more sophisticated. And I do this at the conferences when I speak at them at different conferences, and I've shared about this quite openly. I've gone, guys, back in the old days, you'd be walking along the ground, you'd stub your toe, and you look down and say, oh, there's a gold bar there, and you pick it up and you put it in your pocket and you look around, there's more gold bars, and you pick them up, right? And then it was like someone developed some more technology, like the gold rush, the gold pan. And they go, oh, I'm going to get gold with the gold pan. And sure, they went to the rivers and they got some gold. Then they all got sort of drained out and stuff. And then they invented the new technology, the sluice, like that they'd be able to do automate the whole gold panning operation to get more gold. Yeah, we're the guys who drill the hole in the Earth's crust 10 miles deep to find that gold. That's what we do. It's just a different technology, as technologies progress. So if you're still gold panning, trust me, we have people who want to buy your domains from you because they'll take your monetization and put them with our solution, and they'll get paid back so much faster. Yeah, because
absolutely. And those who are saying monetization is dead should talk with the big corporations in the industry. And I have not seen a corporation that does not have budget for buying bigger portfolios.
Course.
I have not seen a single, and I will not name the names, but I haven't seen a single corporation in our industry that does not buy domain names or who are not prepared to buy domain names. Cheap, of course, they are smart. They're always ready. Always ready.
Yeah, so I think that's the key is are you still gold panning? Are you still doing the same thing you've always done? Or are you actually doing something different? Or you partner with a company like yourself. Like I've said I'm very upfront with people. We make profit.
Yes.
Okay, and that's why we're still around. Okay, I will not do a deal where I don't make profit. So I can guarantee you I'm going to make profit on every deal, right? And but when you work with us, we do not stop optimizing. And we'll continually work away and scratch ahead and work on ways of improving and all that sort of stuff. And there'll be ups and downs and cycles with domains and industries and that sort of thing. But we don't stop. We just don't. People will people they always say like the monetization's dead. I'm thinking, oh man, if you could see like some of our clients how much they're earning. And you're saying monetization is dead. I can almost guarantee those people who say monetization is dead are the ones doing like $10 a month. They don't know what they're talking about. They really don't.
That is the main reason why it is very difficult, not almost impossible, very difficult for me to sell premium memberships at DN Forum and Icon domains to parking companies. You guys are so tired of negativity, of all those comments, and I keep hearing it. We have so many users that have 10 domains, 100 domains, and they're making $1 a month or something. And then they are the ones that are the most vocal. Monetization doesn't work, and we are just tired of them.
Oh yeah, it's one of the reasons why I basically So I no disrespect any of the forums at all or the people in them, but why I exit? I got sick of this being. You go in there with the attitude of trying to help people, right?
Yes.
And they would just, dare I say, vomit all over you, and sort of say, "You don't know what you're talking about, Michael." And I'm thinking, well, I got a decent sized business to prove you're wrong. Sort of like
Michael, and when you decide to hire somebody, maybe a really thick-skinned one,
yeah,
please reach out, and we have memberships that allow you to have your own dedicated categories under
Okay.
parking, and yeah, somebody who is really well mannered, and then there are huge business opportunities at domain name forums. And DN Forum and Icon domains are the only ones at that level. Well, DN.ca as well, that allow businesses to talk about themselves. Name pros do not allow businesses to talk about themselves. Your thread gets immediately banned and deleted.
Yeah.
And we have tons of your users, tons, and clients existing.
I imagine you would, and I'm glad that DN Forum is being sort of resurrected again and everything under your auspices. That's fabulous.
Thank you. Yes.
But the other thing is this: is that, and you're right. All the monetization companies and parking companies,
yes,
they get very tired of the negativity.
Yes.
As I said, like I actually was at NamesCon, and 1 year, and I pointed out to the conference organizer, said, take a look at how many sessions you have on monetization, and there was like one. And I said, but now take a look at who all your major sponsors are.
Okay.
And they're all the monetization companies. I said, this is just crazy. This is absolutely crazy. I said, you're not reflecting the reality of the industry. The reality of the industry is all the monetization companies there are really doing their best to help support the conference and all that sort of thing. Yeah, that's changed. Thank goodness, a lot of that has changed. But it's it's just, I put it this way: if I want to become a millionaire in the domain industry, it is so easy. It's ridiculous. It's like buying a lottery ticket. What you do is, if you want to go along and win the lottery, you got to buy tickets. So you buy one. So it's like buying one domain name. And then you go, so how do you double the odds? Really simple. You buy two. And now you got twice the odds of winning this lottery. How do you triple your odds? You buy 3, 4, 5. So you got these people. They go along. They get up to say, I don't know, 1,000 domain names, and then they say, well, how do I declare myself a millionaire? I know. They're worth $1,000 each. So I've now got 1,000 domains worth $1,000 each. I'm now a millionaire. Isn't that great? Have they sold anything yet? No, they haven't sold anything yet. But it's so easy. So it's an easy concept to sell.
Yes.
It's an easy concept to sell out there. And so you get all these people turning up to different conferences and all that sort of stuff, and they go, we're a millionaire because we got 1,000 domains, price of $1,000 each. Instant millionaire. Right. But on the other hand, monetization is a bit different. It is absolutely accountable. How much money did you earn yesterday?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Versus, oh, I sold a domain for like $2,000 when 5 years ago.
Okay. And how much have you spent on renewals and acquisitions so far?
And they talk about it. Many of these people, like, not all, okay, there's some great people in this space too, so I don't want to get a whole heap of comments saying, oh, you're so negative about them. No. But there is a whole lot of people in the industry declare themselves millionaires. They sell a domain for a couple of grand or something like that, and they talk about it for the next 3 years as if it happened yesterday. You know, the reality is, no, it happened 3 years ago, and that they're actually underwater. I remember I did an analysis, and I actually got up in front of the conference 1 year. I was asked to do a speech at NamesCon on the past, the present, the future of the domain industry. It's actually a really interesting topic. And what I looked at the different business models like monetization, sales, and all that sort of stuff. And I said, you do realize the industry is underwater at the tune, I think from memory, is like $160 million a year. $160 million a year. And I said, that means there's a whole bunch of people in this room that are presently losing their house. because they invest a whole lot of money in domain names and they're not selling any.
It is so true. It is so true.
And I say the numbers don't lie. Like I said,
Yes.
like I've done my best guesstimates and everything like that from my experience over the years. And I call people up and
we know those, and we know those people. We know those people who are on the borderline, like plus minus more or less the same. We know those who are profitable, and we definitely know those who are so big in debt.
Yeah, like I got a call from a person who said, "Michael, I got a few domains. Do you want to buy them?" I said, "Well, no, I don't." And they say, "Okay." Because the reason why I want to sell them, I'll sell them really cheap because my family doesn't have anywhere to sleep tonight. We've been evicted, and we need to go and we need to go along and get to a hotel somewhere tonight. Otherwise, we're sleeping in the car. And I'm like, yeah, they're sort of saying like, well, maybe I can develop a website for you. Just can you give me $100? Like, it's a sad situation, but there's a significant segment of the domain industry that is not commercial. Not commercial at all. I remember years ago.
And totally opposite as well, just in a case to brighten up the story.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like they're. I remember years ago, I was at a conference. I was up on the stage.
Yes.
And part of a panel, and they had like was Dan Schindler from Donuts at the time up there, and he's saying, "You guys gonna buy these domains?" This is like 8 or 9 years ago. You're gonna buy these extensions. They're gonna be like the next gold rush. And you had Savan, who happened to be working at Uni Registry at the time. He's going, yeah, you're gonna buy these domains and all that sort of stuff. And I didn't say that. I just sat there. Finally, the moderator came to me and said, "This is about the new gTLDs, right?" And he said to me, "Well, Mike, what do you got to say on this?" I said, "Guys, no business model. There's 4 business models. First business model, monetization. Second business model is you buy, called rainbow domains. You buy them for $10,000, you sell them for $100,000. Next business model is the stock items. You buy them for like $10 and you sell them for like $300. You know, like stock items off the supermarket shelf. The fourth business model is development. You develop actually into a proper property. You may as well get the COM or the CC or something like that. Right? So there's no business model here. I said, but there will be one day. And I'll be watching them. I'll watch them very closely, and some of them will pop up and some of them will fall by the wayside and everything. And a whole lot of you people, I said in the audience here, will not believe me. You'll mortgage your houses and you'll buy a whole lot of new gTLDs, and you'll pay the renewals year after year after year. And after about 7 to 10 years or thereabouts, right, you'll run out of money to be able to pay the renewals. You'll drop the domain, and about that time, I'll probably pick them up, and I'll make a whole lot of money from them. And then you're going to get really angry because you didn't make the money, and yet I made the money. And I want to remind you of this particular conference. I said, because I told you exactly what I'm going to do. I said, the number one thing when you buy something is to know that you can sell it. And a lot of you here in the audience are going to get very upset because new gTLDs haven't gone along and marketed their domain extension well enough and all that sort of stuff. I said, they've done an awesome job. They got you to buy them. They've done a great job.
Yes. Yeah. They are making money. They are profitable, many of them.
Yeah, that's right. So I said a whole lot of things which were really, they were, how can I put it? I felt like I was raining on a lot of people's parades. Yeah, there was, but I was trying to be very pragmatic about it. Yeah, just like, this is business, guys. Before you buy something, have a seller. It's just like, know exactly how you're going to exit it. And there's too many people out there who, like I said, when I did my maths for the past, the present, and future, I discovered that they were losing their houses, which is really sad.
That is very sad.
It's very sad. But the numbers were the numbers. And by the way, the smart people. Yeah, the smart people, by the way, are making a fortune still because they're smart.
Yes.
Yeah, like you talk to some domain investors and they say, "Oh, I remember when I bought this domain. There was a dark and stormy night, and I was wondering whether I was going to get it on the auctions." And they got a whole story around this, like they're little children. Yeah, that's called a hobby. And by the way, I have hobbies, and I buy things. I've been building Lego kits. I love building Lego kits, right?
Yes.
And I have lots of fun doing it and all that sort of stuff. And I don't expect to make money from it. It's a one-way transaction. I spend money, I get enjoyment, right? And if you're doing that with your domains, that's fine. I don't have any problem at all with that and everything. But don't tell me you're running a business. Tell me you're having a great time enjoying your hobby.
Michael, we have been 1 hour and 10 minutes in. Maybe I will put up 2 last comments by Rohit,
Yes.
and then we could finish on that one, as
Okay.
I really want to get you back on the next time. And if we go for 2 hours, then the break will be too long. So Rohit is saying monetization won't work if the domain name has no traffic. Traffic needs to be generated. Those who fail to generate traffic keep crying that monetization doesn't work. And another one is advertisers are smart and they know their target, and hence not all the domains can make money if they are if they are not from the categories in the demand.
Yeah, well, a couple of things. One,
Yes.
in terms of domains have to have traffic. They have natural typing traffic or link-based traffic or something like that. It has to be natural. And you may have a domain with lots of traffic, but it doesn't mean it's got lots of people. It just has traffic. Yeah, so it needs to be real people doing real things. If you try to generate traffic for the domains, then you're now in the arbitrage game. And there's a different levels of risk and all that sort of stuff associated with it. The second comment that was made, and good insightful questions, by the way.
Thank you.
It was really struck at, once you've got the person, are you going to get a high payout or not? And so that's why you get a lot of the arbitrage people, the players, that they migrate into the finance category because they can get a lot more money. And so they need less traffic and all that sort of stuff, and they manage the costs appropriately. Yeah, so it's when we're going to get a higher payout. Yeah, but the number one issue for me is, my domains already have traffic. That's what you want to do. Don't go along and pay to generate traffic or take the risks associated with that, because many people have been burnt badly. Yeah. And whatever you do not do arbitrage to Google in a hurry unless you really know what you're doing. The anti-fraud stuff will kick in, and you could get your domain register ID or DRID with Google banned forever. Yeah, so there's a lot of problems around it. So so be very wary of that. If you're thinking, gee, you can just go buy some domains and then advertise on Facebook and away they go, no. It's much more sophisticated than that. Like I said, it's you're gold panning in the world, which is like using modern mining techniques. So I hope that answers your question.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Michael. And please let me know if you do you have your handle ParkLogic at DN Forum and Econ Domains?
I don't know, actually. I've always had Whizbang. WHIZZBANG. It's always been Whizbang. Because
Whizbang or Whizbang? Yes.
WHIZZBANG.
BANG. Okay.
Yeah.
Would you like us to change it to ParkLogic, or just keep it yours? So that people, it means that the users are able to tag you in. You know, they can tag in ParkLogic and they can ask you a question.
Yeah, sure. Feel free to do that. Yeah, change to ParkLogic.
Okay, I will ask my admin Felix to check. Are you also at the Econ Domains? Yes.
I believe I'm the same with Acorn Domains from a long time ago. I haven't been on the forums for a long time, so very happy to go ahead and take a look at those. I think it's the same, Whizbang.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, 'cause
I will ask my admin to check your account and to see what is the state, to change it to ParkLogic, and then maybe also double check the email where the notifications are being sent.
Yeah, just send it to my email address. If you set them to my email address as well, that would be great.
Yes.
And just email me the details and that sort of thing. That would be wonderful. Thank you.
Of course, it would.
Yeah.
Everybody is a winner. Everybody is a winner. Having ParkLogic getting email notifications when you are tagged into the forum is super.
Okay.
And for users also being able to ask questions, especially for new ones, and they need to be educated as well.
Yeah, I think the important thing is that in terms of working with ParkLogic, if you're doing $2,500 or more a month, then we'd love to have a chat with you. We really would, because I think we can do some really interesting and positive things with it. And we have one of our values is in the company, and also one of my personal values is tell people the truth. So it's a very strong value system. So if we can't help you for whatever reason, we'll tell you we can't help you.
Yes.
Or we can help you with these domains, but not these ones, and so forth. So we'll work with you and always take the client's best interest at heart, not our best interest, the client's best interest. Yeah. So we've always done that. Yeah.
And the best way to reach you out?
Best way to get me is just mgilmour@parklogic.com, and you see my name there. So it's M for Michael, Gilmour, GILMOUR @parklogic.com.
ParkLogic.com.
Yeah, feel free to reach out, or LinkedIn or whatever. That's fine.
Yes. Thank you, Michael. It is such a pleasure.
Talking with you as always.
You are fantastic and such a pleasant businessman, and with so good ethics. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Take care. Will I see you at CloudFest?
At CloudFest, yes, I will be at CloudFest. And Michael, whatever you are thinking about the main summit. Seriously, I know that you are saying no. Still, Michael, for your best interests, I think we have the #1 business-to-business convention for the domain name industry in Europe.
Well,
there is not a larger business-to-business convention.
Yeah.
There is CloudFest, but it is all about the cloud. There will be the main people. Last year, so first year when you were in London, we had 150 people, something like that. But then the quality was so-so. Last year we had 235, and already 90 or 95% of the people were from the industry.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm working. I'm working on getting businesses and decision makers and big portfolio owners together. And Colin might be coming as well. He owns SEO domains, 0.1% of all the global domain names.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Michael, London is calling.
In the meantime, I'll see you at CloudFest. I look forward to it.
I know. See you in Germany. Okay, bye.
Are you running a domain business? Did you know that we offer premium memberships at acorndomains.co.uk and dnforum.com? One membership for both forums. dnforum.com is the oldest active domain name forum in the world, with over 536,000 members and established in 2001. acorndomains.co.uk is the main online community for the UK domain investors, with over 15,500 members and established in 2004. We offer different premium memberships to help you to reach your business goals, starting from an individual membership, which includes numerous perks, to a platinum membership. For more details, please visit either of the forums or simply leave a comment on this video and we will contact you. Thank you for considering our premium membership. We look towards helping you to reach your business goals.